Cyberpunk, the very first mention of this game was way back in 2013. They dropped a couple of teasers here and there, but official production for the game began only 4 years ago. And since then, we've had release dates pushback, release date pushback, release date pushback, delay, because they were ironing out a few glitches and bugs, and then make people grind so they can add a 10-inch cock and a faulty vagina and all this kind of stuff into the game. And the game came out. So much hype. And in 2 days, in just 2 days, the hype disappeared and all the fanboys went quiet. Nothing, no videos, no people going crazy, no cosplay things, nothing. Social media is dead on anything positive about Cyberpunk, and it is just memes about bugs, and more bugs, and the game not being exactly what it was advertised, and basically just being a bogged down basic bitch of a looter shooter with some RPG mechanics. Now, me and Zam are very unique here because both of us had no hype for this game. In fact, personally, the more I saw, the less I was impressed and the less I wanted to get this game. And the biggest fuck up that CD Projekt Red did was making the game in first person. That was the biggest faux pas they could have done. Before I carry on talking about anything more, Zam, when you first saw the game, what was your initial reaction to the announcement, and then afterwards each more and more being revealed about the game?
Well, what we first saw initially was a gameplay trailer, and what I first felt was this game feels like very much like GTA in the future, which is something a lot of people are saying. But I was a little bit hyped for this. I thought, yeah, all right. I love the cyberpunk genre. We haven't really done it enough in video games, and it'll be nice to see a full-on cyberpunk experience. You know, jacking into things and upgrading yourself and all various other things I couldn't even comprehend at this particular moment. But then we started getting more tidbits, and the first thing that ruined it instantly from the bat was it being an FPS. It's like, what the fuck? I can't wait to upgrade my fucking forearms. They're going to look great. Can't wait to put tattoos on them and shit. You know what I mean? You know, you want to see your character interact with this fucking world, and you're never going to fucking see that in an FPS. Now, I do understand some of the reasonings behind it. For instance, when you look at characters, they're not just standing there like a straight robot. They are interacting with their environment. They might be sitting back on their chairs like this and shit like that, or maybe like this. I understand those little things, and you get more of appreciation of that when you're looking at these people through your character's eyes. But when it comes to some of the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, you see the shooting. It looks absolutely fucking awful. This guy's just unloading. You don't know whether he's hitting or whatever. You know, it looks terrible. And when it comes to interacting in this world, I don't think there's as much as people realize. It's very, very by the books, very basic. You know, it's got some of the GTA elements regarding jobs and stuff like that. But we've seen these sort of elements in various games, whether it be Ubisoft games and their side quests and their side missions. And now with this particular game, nothing impresses me about this game. And then you add all the fucking bugs and the bullshit rendering on the current gen consoles. Oh my God, this game is shit. It is really shit. And the fact that so many people were fellatiating CD Projekt Red, some people we know quite well, you know, praising to this company like they're the fucking second coming of Christ. They can do no wrong. Yeah, well, they can do wrong. All companies do wrong. The bigger you get, the more corporate you get, and then the less you give a fuck about your customers and more about making that fucking green. Yeah, so, and this is a prime example of it. This game is not finished, and they gave it to you all buggy and shit, and there should be more to this game, and it shouldn't be a fucking FPS. Need I go on?
Yeah, I mean, perfectly put. Just to go back on a few things as well. So again, I was with Sam. I was very hyped for the game until they said it was first person. And now, my biggest pet peeve with every game since PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 generations, which I think are generation 6 and 7 or 7 and 8, whatever. Okay. is that the lack of choice in how you view the game. Now, Rockstar, for their gameplay mechanics, are very basic, but at least they give you an option. Do you want to do this in first person? They added that in afterwards for GTA 5. Do you want to watch it in first person? Do you want to play in first person? Do you want to play in third person? Do you want to play a little bit further back? A little bit further back? They gave you that option. Another thing with Cyberpunk is I haven't seen anyone like you could jump in this, or the so-called buildings that you could traverse that we were promised, or anything platform-like in this game. All I've seen is you go here, you talk to this person, you have a shootout, you go here, you talk to that person, you drive around in what looks like the stiffest driving ever in a city that looks barren. The mission selections and the jobs that you could do is very limited. The city is very limited in what you could do. It's just garbage. It just looks like just Ubisoft in that it was just bloated hype with nothing to offer.
With this game is when you mentioned about platforming and stuff, you can get little boosters, for certain things, like you can put boosters on your heels or your ankles to give you better jumping or some shit like that. So you can then.
Can you actually jump in this game?
I saw some traversal, but don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm trying to get to a bigger. I'm trying to get to a bigger picture here, because this game is grindy. This game is a grind fest. Yeah, I mean, they've picked up some of the baddest habits from other developers who are sinking and have gained a bad reputation because of these bad habits. And grinding is one of them. If you want to get anything, you got to grind the fuck out of everything, and then earn that fucking sweet money. Obviously, you can look at you can go onto YouTube videos and find the best methods of grinding and making cash. But surely you don't want to be doing that. Surely you just want to play the game and do things and, and improve your character without having to fucking waste away doing trivial shit just so you can end up doing this shit, and it's I mean, there are clever moments in the game, and they've done some certain things, like if you want to get through a door, you got to make yourself stronger so you can open that fucking door, which opens up more shit to you. But I don't know how deep the things end up being once you open up a particular door to lead you to alternative places. But nevertheless, it's just not deep enough. You're a guy who's half fucking Android, pretty much like everyone else. You want to be able to jack into things, hack into things, influence your environment in various ways. And I think they've missed a trick with this. I really do. I mean, if you think about it, they've got elements of games that's already out, like bits of Watch Dogs, GTA, obviously, maybe Deus Ex, Dishonored, all of these things, and they just mashed it into this shit.
And they didn't execute either of those things well, from what I've seen. I do stand corrected on the jumping and platforming. I've seen God knows how many hours of gameplay, and all I'd personally seen was walking around, chatting to people, running around, and then shooting and driving, and that's it. I never saw a single jump, a single traverse, a single anything. But I stand corrected on that. I do apologize.
It's not a big deal though. Like when you saw this guy doing a jump and he was able to reach these air conditioning ventilators on the side of buildings, he was able to climb on that, and it felt a bit Mirror's edgy. But at the same time, like, we never really saw what was the point of that. Like, is there anything special, collectible, which is still basic, same old shit, which I fucking hate in video games nowadays. But nothing. I'm not sure if anything came from that. It's just that it gave him better maneuverability.
Well, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind if they add options into a game that don't really do anything. That's fine. It's just having the option to climb and jump and traverse should be in every game as a standard. Like in Tomb Raider, when the first ones come out, you could do fucking somersaults and handstands and just shit that added nothing to the game, but it was just great fun to do and was just something nice, a great addition, because back then they weren't scared to experiment with things. And it evolved into its own thing down the line with the other Tomb Raider games. So that's where we are with Cyberpunk. I've got
one more thing as well. They once again, they give you a game that is incomplete. Like the they're still working on the multiplayer portion of this fucking game, which is what pissed me off about Watch Dogs Legions, because that's supposed to be a multiplayer game. Well, I finished playing the single player ages ago. I would like to maybe keep playing this game in other aspects like the multiplayer. Not available until this month, and it's still not available yet.
They shouldn't have announced a release date initially. They should have just said sometime in 2021. But it's because we got the initial release date. I think it was supposed to be early this year. I think it was February or March this year. Then it got pushed back. Then it got pushed back, and then it got pushed back. And then we got this buggy piece of crap. And really, they should never have just announced a release date. The minute you've got too many bugs in your game and it needs a lot of refining, just stay away from trying to mention any kind of release date.
And
it was a big mistake on their part, because sorry, one second. So, because the people that are defending this company are sitting there going, "Oh, well, you were the ones that were pushing for the release date." It was like, well, we're not the ones that initially pushed it back 4 times. So they should have just said, no, fuck it, 2021, and that's it. Sorry, go on, John.
They showed us bits of it, but it wasn't really ready for several years. And that's a long time to wait and remain hyped for something, And then once again, they bring it out and give it to us incomplete. Yeah, and then they just add to the marketing bullshit. They mention how this game is gold, which means it's complete, even though they say it's gold, yet they still then delayed it afterwards until this month. And you can understand why they fucking constantly delayed it. This game's a mess. It's a fucking mess. They took a chance and now it's backfiring big time. Fuck this game and fuck everyone who likes it.